you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us for another edition of Good Morning Fort Sill. And, we had a pretty nice day yesterday, Michael. And, I'm thinking, I saw in the forecast, it looks like it probably is going to be in the 90s again, though, coming up today and later on this week, right?
Yeah, so today we'll be in the upper 80s and lower 90s, but yes, the 90s are returning, so our false fall is coming to an end, at least for now. Looking at satellite and radar, this activity that we saw earlier this evening, we had some severe weather in our far northwestern counties. Luckily, in our viewing area, none of it was severe, but just outside our viewing area, some of those thunderstorms earlier in the evening hours and even yesterday were strong to severe. Some of them were even tornado warned, but a lot of this activity has died out, which is good news. So we're just seeing some mid to high level clouds out there. That is just pretty much the leftover clouds from those thunderstorms. Currently 67 at Fort Sill, and for your PT forecast, we will be sitting in the lower to mid 60s all throughout the morning hours and then getting up close to 70 degrees by 9 a.m. And as you look at the Jackson County Memorial Hospital Tower camera, not seeing much out there, but some of those mid to higher level clouds. And we had a high yesterday of 86 degrees, which is still below average for this time of year. 90 is our normal. At least we're not dealing with 111 degree weather reading back 2 years ago in 2023. Elsewhere, we had 88 in Frederick, 90 in Vernon, and 85 in Wichita Falls.
For high school students figuring out what to do or what they want to do or where to go to college following graduation can be a daunting task. If you want to attend one of the military service academies, it can add to the stress as there are multiple things that you need to do to apply and be accepted. There's a new program offered in Southwest Oklahoma that students can use to help them navigate the steps towards college, especially if you're looking at doing ROTC or going to a military service academy. Retired Army Colonel Dan Blackman and local business owner and community leader Janie Billingsley have started a new program to help area high school students prepare for college and potential attendance at one of the nation's military service academies.
The Forge is a program that we focus on high school students, predominantly freshmen and sophomores, with the intent of finding those leaders that already exist inside the high schools and are high achieving, they have high academic standards, and that will exceed on 3 pillars. Those 3 pillars are academic, physical, and leadership. And then we want to take them and we're going to coach them individually throughout their kind of high school experience with the idea of prepping them to be successful in college.
Right now, the program is active in 3 local area school districts, but they have aspirations to expand as they grow the program and its resources.
We're working right now with Altus, Cache, and then Lawton Public Schools. We have a goal to expand this to other places inside Oklahoma within the next year, and then all of Oklahoma eventually, and then it maybe at some point in time, depending on how successful we are, we would love to see this be kind of a nationwide program.
Local administrators have been extremely supportive, and the Forge program is accepting applications for this school year and plan to start this month. Here's how to find out more information and apply.
All of the counselors, principals of all of those schools I just mentioned, Altus, Cache, and Lawton Public Schools. We've briefed all of them. We've talked to all of them. They're very excited about this program. They're helping us find kids. They're going to miss somebody. So, if somebody sees this and like, I think my kid would be a good candidate, have them go see their counselor. Their counselor doesn't know, have them go to the next counselor. But we primarily focus on the freshman and sophomore counselors, so they have a lot more information. They'll give them an application. That application has my email and Janie's email. They will send that application in, we'll review them. We're going to go hot and heavy with individual coaching starting in September.
So you heard that the program is just getting started, and it's currently in 3 school districts, Altus, Cache, and Lawton Public Schools. It is a great mentorship and coaching program to help high school students with decisions for college, obviously geared towards the military. It is meant to complement programs like JROTC and also serve those students who may not have time in their academic schedules to be in JROTC, but still do have interest in military service. Parents and students can reach out to your school counselors for more information and to get an application. Well, just a reminder that Fort Sill is conducting a planned post-wide power outage tomorrow as part of a DOW-mandated Black Start exercise starting at approximately 4 a.m. Leaders say that the test strengthens the installation's energy resilience by verifying backup systems and ensuring they can maintain critical missions during disruptions. Power will be restored in phases with essential services and residential areas prioritized first. It is important to note that Freedom Elementary will have its power restored before before the school day begins to prevent any disruptions of that school day. Everyone who lives and works on the installation is encouraged to download the My Army Post app for updates and monitor Fort Sill's social media Facebook page. Well, this Thursday marks the 24 years since the attack on 9/11, and each year people across the country hold remembrance events in a variety of ways. Fort Sill hosts an annual 9/11 remembrance ceremony and run. Fort Sill Special Events Coordinator Ethan Briner tells us what you can expect during Thursday's special event.
We'll kick off at 7:40 in the morning at McNair Hall, followed by at 8:05 we will kick off our 4-mile run. It is open to the public. It is completely free. We welcome everyone to come out and take part. We have brigades and battalions and platoons, international soldiers all running in it, and it's just a way to remind people there's a lot of our soldiers that are currently active. They weren't even born when this happened, and it's a way for them to learn the history, honor those that lost their lives, both our service members and our first responders. This changed our country, and we never, ever, ever want to forget.
So we will be out covering that event on Thursday morning. There's a 4-mile run and ruck as well as a 1-mile run or walk. Check-ins at 7 in the morning in front of McNair Hall with the ceremony at 7:40 just prior to the start of the run. The event is free and open to the public, though if you want a t-shirt, medal, and bib, you must register either online or at sill.armymwr.com or at the Building 4700 Welcome Center, room 151N. The cost for that is $35. Well, a national nonprofit, Carry the Load, alongside the VA and Fort Sill National Cemetery, is hosting a National Day of Service and Remembrance on September 11th. The event will be from 9:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Thursday at Fort Sill National Cemetery in Elgin. Volunteers will clean headstones and beautify the grounds in tribute to service members, vets, first responders, and their families. No pets are allowed, and children under the age of 14 must be accompanied by an adult. You can register for the event and at participate.carrytheload.org. Well, the Fire Center of Excellence, Chief of Staff Colonel Jason Morgan and Command Sergeant Major Neil Sartain recognized some of Fort Sill's finest athletes who were selected for the All-Army sports teams during a ceremony last month. Leaders recognized members of the men's and women's softball teams as well as the men's rugby squad. These soldiers will be competing at the national level and showcase their athletic talent while representing Fort Sill. Congratulations to the newest members of the All-Army sports teams. Well, members of Team Shepherd joined fellow hunting enthusiasts for the 20th annual Salute and Hunt, Dove Salute and Hunt, excuse me. The event is held at the Birdwell Clark Ranch just east of Henrietta, Texas, to thank and introduce airmen from Shepherd Air Force Base to Texas traditions. The event began as a gesture of appreciation for service members following 9/11 and now has blossomed to a tribute to all current and former service members. The Defense Health Agency has unveiled a new tool to help them find DHA locations across the globe. We'll have all the latest news from across the armed forces after the break.
This 7 News broadcast is sponsored by Southwest Buick GMC.
This just in, the town of Velma is being evacuated.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app.
Mark, what are you seeing?
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule. Download all 3 for free. Stay connected to 7 News wherever you are. Stay connected to the team you trust. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app. Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV. Stay connected to 7 News. The KSWO 7 News app. Here's your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
And as we look at our current temperatures right now, we're in the lower to mid 60s out there. 67 in Lawton right now, 68 in Wichita Falls, 71 in Vernon, 63 in Duncan and in Chickasha, 68 in Waurika, 65 in Anadarko. And these temperatures are, although they are a little bit cooler than we normally seen compared to yesterday, we're about 5 to 8 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday. So we're still continuing our warming trend, and that will continue as we go in towards the end of this week. Looking at our relative humidity values, they're anywhere from the 50 to 70% range, and our winds were breezier, especially earlier yesterday, but right now they're anywhere out of the southeast, anywhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour. And that trough that has given us a lot of this cooler air is continue to push off towards the northeast, and we're going to get a little bit more influence from this high pressure heat dome. Again, it's not going to move over where we are, but it's going to mainly stay towards the southeast, getting us a little bit of some influence. And then our next storm system that will affect us by the weekend, giving us our next rain chance. This is currently entering the west coast. And as we look at our surface features right now, we're seeing just a little bit of a warm front right there. Now continue to push off towards the northeast, giving us a little bit warmer air for today. And there's a marginal risk of some severe weather as we go into tonight and into your Wednesday morning on the far western counties, and any of those storms has the capability to be producing up to quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. But I stress these will be very isolated in nature, only about a 10% chance of that happening.
Well, taking a look at news across the forces, the Defense Health Agency has recently unveiled a new tool that allows users to search for DHA locations across the globe. Find DHA allows users to do a filtered search by Defense Health Network, TRICARE region, or keywords. The interactive mapping functionality lets users quickly find a location, link to a website, or click to call. Leaders say that they're dedicated to providing the hosting, sustainment, and back-end support that keeps this platform secure and reliable. Well, the Tobyhanna Army Depot in Pennsylvania has successfully completed their initial delivery of first-person view small uncrewed aircraft systems, or SUAS. The launch marks a significant milestone in advancing its mission to enhance readiness for America's warfighters. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has described the drones as, quote, the biggest battlefield innovation in a generation. Led by Army Materiel Command, this collaborative effort leverages the unique capabilities of multiple Army organizations, including the U.S. Army Tank, Automotive, and Armaments Command. Well, the Army women's rugby team continues to dominate the pitch and has notched their 5th championship title. Army took first after a 15-14 win over Air Force in the championship round. The ladies of the U.S. Navy were able to nab 3rd place overall after winning the consolation match 31-7 over the Coast Guard. The Marines rounded out the group with a 5th place finish. Congratulations to all of the ladies on that hard-fought competition, and go Army. Well, Lee Zeldin and the Environmental Protection Agency joined forces with a local farm near Scott Air Force Base to bring over 20 pallets of produce to military families in need. Airmen and their families on base were treated to hundreds of free watermelon, corn, and pumpkins and watermelon juice under the EPA's Feed It Onward initiative to connect farmers with nearby military installations to share their bounty with those who serve. As a retired Army officer himself, Zeldin first expressed his thanks to the line of patriots and their families, as well as retirees who were in the audience for the event. Soldiers from Fort Hood celebrated the first legacy of the 1st Cavalry. Coming up after the break, we'll have some of the top military headlines.
This just in, the town of Velma is being evacuated.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app.
Mark, what are you seeing?
Right now I'm here at 2nd and Up.
Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule. Download all 3 for free. Stay connected to 7 News wherever you are. Stay connected to the team you trust. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app. Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV. Stay connected to 7 News.
U.S. Customs and Immigration, alongside Border Patrol and the National Guard, are working to keep the southern border secure. A.J. Juarez has more from Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar, who is in talks to create a drone task force to enhance border security.
U.S. Congressman Henry Cuellar had a conversation with the chief of Border Patrol, and in that conversation, they sparked the idea of creating a drone task force that would help protect the U.S.-Mexico border. Cuellar says the reason for this drone force is to defend against enemy drones, specifically those of the Mexican cartels. Cuellar tells KGNS there had been sightings of drones from the cartels where they track the area Border Patrol officers are surveying and radioing in people to go in the opposite direction. Cuellar is looking to get the Border Patrol, military, and Laredo College involved with this project to defend against criminal organizations and their technology.
I think it's important that we show that the U.S. Is responding to what the Mexican cartels are doing. So I want to thank the Border Patrol chief, his leadership, and I certainly want to thank the military, their expertise, and certainly the other groups that are involved.
Cuellar says he's been working with the military on purchasing and acquiring these drones quickly. Because the cartel doesn't have to follow the same bureaucracy and rules to get drones, Cuellar says that's why they have to act faster and more agile to get ahead of them.
Cartels they'll go to a store, buy it, and they got it, they got the money. In ours, you have to follow certain rules, certain bureaucracy, it takes a long time. So we have to be faster, more flexible, more agile to respond to the technology that the cartels are using.
Well, soldiers at Fort Hood celebrated the history of the 1st Cavalry Division recently. 1st Cav has been active since 1921 and have a long history of serving across the globe. Soldiers competed in several sports, including basketball, grappling, boxing, and much more during Cav Week. Leaders commended their soldiers on their unwavering commitment to serving their country and honoring the Big Yellow Patch.
A legacy forged on horseback along the border, in the jungles of the Pacific, the mountains of Korea, the valleys of Vietnam, and in the deserts of the Middle East, and now on the plains of Europe. The Yellow Patch has been everywhere our nation has needed it.
I am very proud of what our boys in 3CR have done. I'm also proud of everybody that competed, and every competition that we had this week showed more heart than I've ever seen in any other unit that I've ever been in.
Looked like they had a fun time there. That patch is one of the best known across the Army. Huge on the shoulder there. Well, hundreds of military leaders from around the world have converged on Waikiki this week for a key defense summit. U.S. Indo-Pacific Command leader Admiral Sam Paparo and Governor Josh Green are joining more than 200 military leaders, policymakers, and scholars from 30 nations for the 36th annual International Military Law and Operations Conference. This year's theme is Peace Through Strength, advancing Indo-Pacific security through legal vigilance and legal diplomacy.
We equip our local commanders with a full spectrum of operations in escalation of force to ensure that they have every tool at their disposal, and we back them up with really clear orders, really clear training so that they can see where that bright line is.
That conference runs through Thursday. Well, a 20-year Army combat veteran is hoping to legally challenge President Trump's recent executive order that directs prosecutors to charge people who burn the American flag. Jay Carey says he set a flag ablaze last month in direct protest to the order, which he contends is illegal. Carey was detained by uniformed Secret Service officers and turned over to federal park police. He will be arraigned in federal court later this month on 2 criminal misdemeanor charges. Neither charge specifically addresses flag burning. Well, the League of United Latin American Citizens is fighting to restore funding and staffing for programs aimed at preventing sexual assault and harassment for people who have served in the military. Earlier this year, the Department of Defense announced the Department of War announced across-the-board changes to its personnel and budget, coupled with the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The changes have made it harder for programs like sexual harassment, assault, and response and prevention, SHARP, to operate or even hire the required staff to operate efficiently.
We want to make sure our service members have every tool available, equip them strengthen them. And when we stand and wave a flag, it's not only we're waving the flag, it's not only do we believe in you, but we're here for you. And we're here to make sure that there's laws that are going to protect you.
LULAC representatives are speaking to elected officials at the state and federal level with the goal of expanding and funding programs like SHARP that are designed to prevent and report sexual harassment and assault of service members. Well, a photographer is cataloging the 250th anniversary of the American Armed Forces by taking the pictures of 250 military veterans. Michael Conrad's 250 Faces of Service and Sacrifice chronicles veterans from many conflicts, including World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and much more. Conrad says World War II gets a lot of attention and rightfully deserved, but he says it's important to him to also tell the stories of other veterans.
World War II, people say, I call it they're the heroes. Korea is the forgotten war, and Vietnam was the despised war. And they were treated that way too. They were told, many of the veterans I've talked to from Vietnam were told not to wear their uniform when they came home.
Conrad says he hopes to get the project done by next July. You can still nominate veterans to be a part of it by going to 250faces.com.
Alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amankwa.
And a last look at your PT forecast, currently 62 degrees at Fort Sill, and we will still be in the lower to mid 60s as we go throughout much of the morning hours, and then we will be getting into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we get to around 9 to 10 a.m. And for most of you Tuesday, we will have mostly sunny skies out there, and we will increase cloud coverage. Again, we're watching our far western counties for another chance of some isolated showers or storms. Some of them could be strong or severe, but otherwise we will have partly cloudy skies for your Wednesday morning, mostly sunny again for your Wednesday. And then as you go into your Thursday, you're just going to repeat the same thing as you go into your Thursday, mostly sunny with a few clouds possible going into your Friday and Saturday. We start increasing your clouds as we go into your Saturday and into your Sunday, and then that's the next chance where we'll have another round of showers and storms going to your Sunday and your Monday. Now, as we look at your forecast for today, highs will be in the upper 80s, lower 90s, 89 for Lawton, mostly sunny, south and southeast winds that are anywhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour. Going into tonight, we will be having a low of 64 degrees, so we're slowly getting a little bit warmer with isolated storms out west, otherwise partly cloudy. Winds out of the south at 0 to 10 miles per hour. And going into tomorrow, a high of 92. It will be around average for this time of year. Mostly sunny, south-southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And looking at your 7-day forecast, we will continue to be in the lower to mid-90s as we go throughout the rest of the week. And then as we go into the weekend, we'll be watching our next chance of precipitation.
Well, thanks for watching Good Morning Fort Sill. You can check the 7 News app today for updates and breaking news.